What's up, everyone? Shaquille Mahjoudi here for CBS Sports, and you know who this is. He is the reigning, defending WWE Intercontinental Champion, and legend has it the ghost of iShow Speed is still floating around Indianapolis after what this man did to him. Bron Breakker, how's it going, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. I feel like you do a lot of mean mugging, so if I can break you this early into the interview, I'm stoked for how the rest of it's going to go.
Yeah.
No, let's start with the spear before we get into Mania season. I gotta ask, at this point, I think it's bizarre that we still have so many other superstars on the roster doing the spear. No disrespect to Roman or Jay or Ricky Saints. Why are other people still even attempting this after the just vicious move that you've managed to turn it into?
Um, well, I mean, to be fair, Roman was doing it before me, so um, I have to pay my respect there for sure. But I think we all do it a different way. Um, with my background, my football background, I certainly do it a more violent way than everybody else, I would like to think. So I leave that up to interpretation for everybody else, though. I don't really, I just do what I do. You know what I mean?
I appreciate the humbleness. Well, can you walk me through sort of like setting up that spot with Roman at the Rumble? Because it was one of those rare first time encounters. The crowd went absolutely crazy for it. Just walk me through like the genesis of the idea and the execution and how you felt about it.
Yeah, I mean, to be in there with him in any capacity is just crazy for me. Um, so I was, obviously super excited. I was, I mean, I was kind of blown away. Um, it's, he's the greatest that there is. I mean, he's the greatest of all time, in my opinion. So, for him to, sort of see, that to be in that position, there's got to be some sort of level of respect, or he sees something in me in that regard. So to have that sort of, rapport, he thinks that of me is crazy because I grew up watching him, all through high school and stuff. So, I mean, it was crazy.
Does that make it even wilder that you and Paul Heyman are working so closely together, considering everything that Paul's done with Roman?
Yeah, I mean, it's it's really Paul's relationship with, goes back generations with my family.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul obviously worked alongside my dad and my uncle back in the day, and then he, they had great friendships and stuff on the road and all that. So then, as soon as I got called up and was sort of, getting brought into the business and at that level, he sort of, he just saw something in me, and we started building a friendship and building rapport, and I love working with him. I mean, he's amazing. He's the greatest. He is the greatest of all time as well. So it's great, man. I mean, it's great.
Is that a little yappy dog I hear in the background?
It is. He's
Okay, I gotta
outside. He
say,
wants to come in.
you can get him if you want. I don't mind, but I would not expect that to be the sound of the dog in a house with the
Yeah,
lineage
believe it
of
or
the
not, I
dog
got
face
two. I
gremlin.
got two little bitty golden doodles. They are. God, let me. Can I
Yeah,
let him in the
absolutely you
door?
can, bro. You can
All
bring him
right,
on camera. You can
two
do whatever you need
seconds.
to, man.
2 seconds.
Absolutely. This is a dog-friendly environment. I would never dare to leave
I'm
the
here.
dogs out.
All right. All right.
There we go. Dad can
Sit
be
down.
at ease now. Um,
Sorry
also,
about that.
no, no, no. I'm happy. I was just mesmerized by the Highland cow in the on the portrait there behind you. This
Yeah.
is
They got like a Western theme going on.
Um, what would you say has been the greatest gift that Paul Heyman has imparted on you in this sort of collaboration that you two guys have going on behind the scenes?
Just being able to work with him is a gift. Just because the wealth of knowledge that he carries is unparalleled to anyone or anything else. So what he's able to teach me on a weekly basis is just insane. Just about how to go about my craft and how to carry myself, or the direction that we're headed and where my character needs to be at a certain point, or how to facilitate. It's just he's the best, man. It's insane how much knowledge how much he knows, and to at the highest level that he knows it. Like it's crazy. I couldn't be like more lucky to be, to even be part of anything that Paul is doing. I love him. I love working with him. It's cool.
Speaking of being parts of things, as of this recording, nothing is official. I worry that by Monday, this question will be answered, but I have a hard time believing we're not going to see Bron Breakker at his first WrestleMania. Assuming that comes to fruition, what will it mean? Oh, and shout out to the Doodle. Sweetest dogs. Sweetest dogs on the planet. So, I don't know about yours. The ones I know, a little dumb. No understanding of their own, safety, but just the sweetest.
Yeah.
What will it mean for you to sort of add that notch to your resume?
It's bucket list, sort of dream come true moment to be a part of WrestleMania. Hopefully I am a part of WrestleMania this year. It would be my first one. So just huge milestone for my career. People dream about being in WrestleMania or having a WrestleMania moment. And, hopefully I get the opportunity for that this year to defend my title on the biggest stage of them all. That's, I really hope so.
I recently filmed a video where we sort of gave our predictions for the superstars poised to make the biggest impact post WrestleMania. Not necessarily in the sense of who's at the top, but who's going to see sort of the greatest escalation from where they are now to where they're going to be by the end of 2025. And you were definitely one of my top three. What is on the horizon, in a perfect world, what's on the horizon for Bron coming out of WrestleMania? Where does he want to be from April through to December?
I think, to elevate the Intercontinental Championship as much as I possibly can is priority number one. To make that championship mean the most that I possibly can is, priority number one for me. And then anything beyond that is, I think a bonus at this point, because I'm, it's hard to predict sort of where I'll be at the end of this year or middle of the year or whatever. But I think we got to be talking World Heavyweight Championship at some point, some point down the line. Just, whether it's Gunther, whether it's Jay or whomever. I just don't think the people at that level can, as I'm doing this, continuing to move in the right direction. It's only going to be so long before I'm up there too. So
I have an interview with Scott Steiner in the coming days, and I was sort of thinking about your respective careers, and they're very different in the sense. Anything you need to warn me about before I get into that?
Oh, geez. Have fun.
Have fun. Okay, I hope so. I hope to. And obviously, he primarily sort of had his ascent as part of the Steiner brothers before breaking into the NWO, working, around the sort of the U.S. title scene, and then ascending to the World Heavyweight Championship. Is there any advice you've been able to attain from him in the sense of about making that transition from mid-card champion to world heavyweight champion?
Yeah, I mean, just like how crucial that it is to elevate yourself when you're in that position, because I he's just given me so many, him, my dad too, just the severity of how important it is to elevate your game at all aspects when you're in that position, when you're going for world heavyweight title. That's sort of the main storyline or part of the show. So you're going to get the most opportunities to sort of see what you're made of. And they've stressed to me a lot how important it is when I get an opportunity of that magnitude that I need to capitalize and sort of just be an overachiever if I can in any way, so that I can stay there.
Last time you and I spoke briefly at the Rumble, you told me you were taking a fortnight break. You've made the transition to Call of Duty. Are you still playing COD? And is it as sweaty as I hear it is? Because I hear people are taking that game way too seriously.
Yeah, it's sweaty by all means. It's Verdansk just dropped today. It was like last night, so I'll be grinding that for a little bit. We'll see how that goes. If I spend too much time in the gulag, then I don't know how much longer I'm going to play the game. So we'll see.
Okay, well, fortunately, not on the WWE Gulag. Everything's going well there. We'll try to keep you on time so you can get your reps in tonight. I always put out a fan Q&A, and it's serendipitous that you have the dog here because so many of the comments were about the wolf dogs. First, can you walk me through like how that idea was first brought to your attention?
Him and I had been like we ever since he came to NXT, we've been like joking about like working with each other, or like I would always joke with him like, when are you gonna be my tag partner? And he'd be like, get away from me, like just joking around with each other. And then there was sort of a point where I was I really wasn't like in a storyline currently at the time. I was like just in a different position in NXT, and then he had come down and sort of like worked with the top guys at the time and worked with all of them, and then sort of like we had like such great chemistry in the back. It was like sort of like, all right, let's try this and like see what happens. And I think we blew a lot of people away with what we were able to do. Just our chemistry on camera with what we were able to create, and just so much fun that we were having. And just it was just like such a cool time. It was so fun to be a part of and so fun to work with him, because he had Tom has such a wealth of knowledge in the industry because he's been around for so long. So he was able to like give me pointers and stuff along the way. And then, I was, at the time you could see like I was doing some different things in the ring that were just a little bit crazier and a little bit more on brand with my character, and sort of like coming into my own a little bit and figuring things out and because I just felt like at a time, there was like a certain little bit of a time down there where I was like sort of a little comfortable sort of doing the same stuff. And it really wasn't like I needed to move forward, needed to figure out some way to progress. And that was definitely a crucial part of that. So you started to see him do some different things in the ring too that he'd really never done, like some dives and some different things. We were going crazy. So that was such a fun time, fun thing to be a part of. I think people will remember that tag team, even though it was for a short period of time. I think we'll remember it for a long time.
But yeah, for how short and sweet it was, I was like amazed by how warm like how many people wanted to hear you talk about that. How did you feel about sort of like the dissolution of it? I feel like it kind of just dissolved without, I think, a proper send off.
Yeah, I think that him and I, neither one of us wanted to turn on one another. You know, just because the dynamic of what we had on television at the time was just like didn't really call for it, I don't think. And this was like pretty sure this was like his first time being a babyface in his career. So I could tell that he was like really enjoying that as well. Just complete change. And you know, it was fun, man. It was so much fun. I love tag wrestling too. I think it just runs in my blood, something that comes to me, you know, it just comes to me naturally. Tag wrestling is so much fun, and getting to do it with him was just icing on the cake. I mean, it was great. I enjoyed it for sure.
Obviously, we have big singles ambitions, intercontinental title, world title. Is there someone on the roster who you think in the future would make just a killer pairing with Bron Breakker?
I mean, I would love to work with Roman Reigns one day. We saw a little bit of him and I in the Rumble this year, but that's something that, you know, I really, really hope that I get to stand across from him one day and we get to work. And just because he's, you know, he's the greatest, and that would be a huge moment for me, my career, and you know, just to learn from him in any capacity, I think would just be, you know, monumental to my progress as a superstar and learning. So, yeah, I mean, he's definitely one I would love to work with for sure.
What about as a tag team? Anyone that stand out?
It's a tag team. I don't know. I mean, that's a tough one. I don't I mean. Maybe if Tom ever comes back, we can reunite and do
Like that.
something. That would be really cool. I think a lot of people would enjoy that. But, you know, I don't know. I mean, right now I'm just so focused on, you know, being a great intercontinental champion and being a single superstar at the moment, and just, you know, trying to do the best job that I can possibly do. So at some point, if I have to shift gears and become a tag team wrestler and sort of pivot for a little while, I think, you know, that'd be enjoyable for people to see, just because I love tag wrestling. It's really fun. So
On the way out to top and tail this with the last minute we have, could I get like Bron Breakker's power rankings of the best spears he's ever landed? It can be top 3, top 5, whatever comes to your mind.
that I've ever hit on
Yeah.
somebody. I think I speared Von Wagner on the floor in front of the announce table one time, and what the camera didn't pick up is I was in the parking lot, probably, I don't know, I mean, 60, 70 yards away, and I came flying, like the fastest I've ever moved in WWE. I mean, I was flying. And I remember like leaving my feet, like where the post, like before I got to the ring where the post was, and flew through the air and hit him, and then ended up on the wall on the other side of the arena. And I got up and I was like, man, I might have to cool it, because I almost hit my head on the steps right there. And I jumped, and that one was crazy.
Okay. You know
That one was
what? I
definitely,
think
that's
we
got to be
could
a
leave it
number
at
one.
that. That's insane. Well, I like how your concern was strictly for your head and not at all for Von Wagner, but I hope he's doing okay.
He'll be all right.
There we go.